What's going on, everybody? Chrome on Rust here. I've received a few questions regarding the adds elemental damage affix on items. If you're unsure of what that is, it's just things like the Stone to Jordan. This one has lightning damage. You get it with arcane, holy, fire, poison, and cold damage as well. They come in like 5 to 6%. Tail Rosh's Allegiance, they'll have 5 to 6% as well. Zuni's Boots will have 7 or 8%. Triumvirates will have 5 or 6. Frostburn Gauntlets 5 or 6% as well. So I do want to go ahead and go over a few more things before I get into those questions, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. When it comes to weapons, there's going to be two types of damage that they can roll. They can either roll elemental damage or they can roll black damage. Or at least I should say what people refer to as black damage. So an example of elemental damage is going to be like this X here. The elemental damage on this is 170 to 306 of cold damage. Now examples of black damage are going to be like your Scorns, your Echoing Furies, rares can get it as well. Anything that has that min-max damage on there would be considered black damage. So things that are going to fall into the same category are going to be your rings and your amulets, so all jewelry that has the damage modifier on there. And also, if you were to throw a ruby into the socket of your weapon, that would be considered black damage as well. I'm going to go ahead and go over why this is actually going to matter to you, because I'm sure some of you are dying to know that this does actually have a point, and it does, I promise. And then after that, we're going to go over the questions that I did receive. So let's start with this black weapon damage here. If I were to throw this on, and then I were to throw on any of these rings, so we'll just say poison damage, my Echoing Fury is going to be getting an additional 6% damage added onto it. Now, that's going to be the total weapon damage. If I were to take this black weapon damage off and to throw on this elemental damage, I can never actually multiply or add 6% to that 170 to 306 damage on there. Now you can see this is a poison ring. If I were to even take this poison ring off and throw on a cold ring, I could still actually never add 6% to that 170 to 306 damage. So if you're using things like this, you really do want to be looking for black weapon damage to take full advantage of that percentage that you are gaining from your Stone to Jordan, your Tails Amulet, your Zuni's Boots, your Frostburn Gauntlets, your Triumvirates. I know there's some that I'm missing in here. One of the questions that I received is, how is this plus % elemental damage going to be affecting my skills and my runes? First, I need to go over kind of what this is actually doing for you. And the plus elemental damage is taking all of your base damage or your black damage, and it's going to add 6% of whatever elemental damage you are using onto that. So in this case, it would be an additional 6% arcane. So we're going to go ahead and test this out with the skill real fast. In this case, we're going to be using a Lightning Hydra. So this Lightning Hydra is going to be doing 64% damage as lightning, and now it's going to be doing an additional 6% as arcane. So it's not going to matter what type of plus % we are actually using. Even if it's fire, we're still going to be getting that additional 6%, but now it's just going to be in fire damage. So we'll go ahead and throw up one more Hydra here. We'll use the Arcane Hydra. Now the only difference is we're going to be doing 60% damage as arcane, and we're going to be doing 6% as fire. So the next two questions that I received is this scaling properly, and is it working as intended? So I need to do a little bit of testing for this, so we're going to move into that now. Alright, so how we're going to be doing our testing now is we're actually not going to be using a weapon. So we will be dealing true damage or black damage, however you want to look at it. And to eliminate all of our variables, I went ahead and bought this amulet here. It has 25 minimum damage on it. So what that's going to be doing is it's going to be taking our minimum damage all the way up to our maximum damage. So that will eliminate all variables except for our crit chance. So you do have 5% passive crit chance. I went ahead and took off all my items that do have it on there. So if you see a yellow number pop up or that crit number, don't worry about that because that's not actually the numbers we are testing. So let's go ahead and check this out real fast. First we're going to be using Bash, and we'll be using Sprint. So we will be testing it with two skills just to be sure here. So we're going to test it without the weapons on, or without a ring on, one of the Stone to Jordans. So there we go, we're doing 1045, and we are doing 117. So I will go ahead and write that down here real fast. Alright, now we will go into trying out our rings here. We're going to start with 5% first. This is a cold ring. There we go. We're doing 197, and our tornadoes are doing 123. Alright, so we should be seeing any change now at all. So we have Arcane on now. Wait for him to stop shielding. 197. 123, so that one's good as well. Move on to our holy damage. Same thing, good numbers, that's what I like to see. So far it is true and tried. Fire damage now. Alright, so we are getting the same thing as well for fire, poison. These are all the 5% ones once again. So yes, we are good, And the last one is going to be our lightning damage here. So our bash numbers are good. And yep, our tornado numbers are good as well. We'll go ahead and start with cold once again. We're now doing the 6% ones. Sorry, I know this video could get a little boring at this part, but I did want to show the actual testing and process so you guys can be just as sure as I am if this all turns out correctly. So we're going to be using the arcane one now. Getting the same numbers once again. I actually do want to go ahead and write these down. We're getting 1108 and 124. 1108, 124. Okay, we need to do arcane now. A little bash, tornado. Okay, numbers are the same. Move on to fire damage now. And tornado ticks are looking good, as well as the bash, poison damage, and then we'll have one more here. Numbers are looking good, And lightning damage is going to be our last 6%. So we're getting 1108, and we are getting 124, so the numbers are looking good. I will not let this guy live. I will kill him.
Okay, everybody. Now, all we have left to do is the math.
I am going to drop the act. I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate it, but really all we do have left to do is the math. And we'll be taking our base bash damage, which was 1045. And we're going to be timesing that by 1.05 for our 5% rings. And we get a number that is 1097.25. And our actual number was 1097. So they were right. They do round, as we just found out. And I will do that once again for our sprint run like the wind. We'll take our 117, and then we're going to times that by 1.05. And we get a number that is 122.85, and our actual number was 123. So the numbers are right once again. And we'll do the same thing for the 6% rings, except this time we're going to be timesing it by 1.06 for our bash, which was 1045, and we come up with a number that is 1107.7, and our actual number was 1108. So they know how to round, and their math is appropriate so far. We'll take our last one for sprint run like the wind for the 6% rings. Let's take that 117 times that by 1.06, and we come up with a number that is 124.02, and our actual number was 124. So Blizzard's math is correct. Blizzard gets an A and a star and an E for effort and all those other things. Alright, well that's it. I hope you did enjoy. I'm Chrome and Rust for Core Expert Gaming, and you all have a happy Easter.
I will destroy the sin hearts that bring unholy life to his armies, and then face the Lord of Sin himself.